With some simple stitches and just a few rounds, you too could be making these gorgeous scrunchies. This is a pattern you can find for free on my blog, and you can also find it as an ad-free PDF. I'll leave links in the description box below for you. The Sweet Pea Scrunchie pattern comes in two different sizes. We have the mini and the maxi. I'm going to show you both in this video tutorial. I am using Yarn Smith's Cotton Aran, which is 100% cotton worsted weight yarn, and I'm going to be using a 4.5mm hook for this pattern. You are also going to need a hair tie, so I have these hair ties here which were really cheap. They came in a pack of 50, so you can be making loads of these. You will also need a pair of scissors and a darning needle for sewing in your ends. I'll leave everything, including the colours that I've used, in the description below, so please make sure that you go and check that out. Grab everything that you need and let's get started. So we're going to begin by taking our main colour and creating a slip knot, and you can do this in whichever method you prefer. Go ahead and insert your hook. And we're going to start by working straight around our hair tie. So we have our slip knot on the hook, and we're going to begin with a standing double crochet, which is a standing single crochet in US terms. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert our hook straight in to the hair tie. Yarn over and pull up a loop. You'll have 2 loops on the hook, and then yarn over, pull through both of those loops on the hook. And there we have our very first stitch. So we're going to work a further 39 double crochets, which is US single crochets, around this hair tie. So our next stitch will just go straight in to the hair tie, yarn over, pull through. You'll have 2 loops on the hook, and then yarn over, pull through both loops on the hook. So that's our first of our 39, and then 2 and 3. Notice that I'm not working over the tail end here. It just really doesn't work in this instance, because if you lay it down and you stretch the hair tie, then it actually comes out of the center of the hair tie anyway. So I deliberately leave this out so that we can deal with this later. I've done my four stitches here. I'm going to go ahead and add around half of the stitches that are needed for the foundation for row 1, because I just want to show you how these are going to be applied to the hair tie. So carry on with your stitches, and then I'll meet you back in a second to show you what it's going to look like when you've added around half of your stitches. So here I have half of my stitches, and you can see that it's taking up the majority of the hair tie. But as this is only half the stitches, what we want to do is we want to take either end of the stitches and pull them closer together, just like so. And then this just gives us room to work those rest of the stitches. And you can see now that this is really nicely covering over the hair tie. So I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my stitches, and I'll meet you back in a moment. So I've now worked all of those 39 stitches, and with that very first stitch that we made, I now have 40 stitches around the hair tie. Now if you have a different size hair tie and you find that this is too many, you can take some off, or if you can still see the bobble, the hair tie, once you've got your stitches on, you can add more stitches as well. You can still follow this pattern. It doesn't matter how many stitches you have in this very first round. So I have my 40 stitches. I'm going to go ahead and join with a slip stitch into that very first stitch. And as mentioned before, I deliberately left out this tail end. So now for round 2, I'm going to chain 2. This is going to count as a half treble, which is a US half double. And we're going to work another half treble US half double into that very same stitch. So we're going to yarn over and insert into that same stitch, yarn over, pull through. You'll have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on the hook, like so. And then we're going to work 2 stitches into every stitch all the way around. So those half trebles, US half double crochet, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then into the same stitch, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on the hook. So we're going to take our stitch count from 40 to 80. We're doubling our stitch count in this round, and this is going to cause it to have this wavy effect. So go ahead, pause the video, work that all the way around, and then meet me back once you're ready. So I've now worked my way around. I'm going to join with a slip stitch to that very first stitch, which was actually the chain 2. So join into the top of the chain 2, like so. Now if you're making the mini version, which is this one just here, or these here, then you are going to skip this next round that I'm about to show you and go to the final round just here. So they are actually the same. The final rounds are made the same for the mini and the maxi. So as I say, if you're doing the mini, then fasten off here, and then if you're doing the maxi, then we're going to continue with round 3. So round 3, we're going to chain 2, which counts as a half treble, and then work a half treble into that same stitch, which is US half double crochet. And we're going to do exactly the same all the way round. We're going to work 2 stitches into each stitch. So again, we're going to double the amount of stitches that we have in this round, and we're going to go from 80 stitches to 160 stitches. So go ahead, pause the video, work your way round, and then meet me back once you're ready. So now you've worked your way all the way around, you're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of that initial chain 2 from the rounds, and then you can go ahead and fasten off. So now what we're going to do is we're going to attach the contrast colour. So I'm going to go into this stitch where we've just fastened off and take my contrast colour, which I'm going to use this colour. And what we want to do is we want to pull this through, so loop it and just pull it through that first stitch. We're then going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and that counts as a slip stitch and a chain 1. We're then going to find that next stitch and do a slip stitch. So we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull through and pull through for a slip stitch, chain 1, slip stitch and chain 1, slip stitch and chain 1. And this creates this beautiful braided effect. So this is what we're going to do in every single stitch all the way around. Whether you're doing the mini or the maxi, it's exactly the same. This final round is the same. So slip stitch, chain 1, slip stitch, chain 1. You're going to pause the video, work that all the way around until you've done your last slip stitch and chain 1, and I'm going to show you how we'll finish off this round. So I've now worked my way around. I've done my slip stitch and chain 1 in that last stitch. I'm going to go ahead and fasten off the yarn, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to join to the beginning of the round through that very first stitch. So I'm just going to pull down on this tail end, and then I'm going to go into that first stitch and pull it through, and then go into the center of that last chain 1. So we're doing an invisible join. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tail end and then go around the top of that last round. And I like to do the rule of 3, so I go one way, and then back the other way, trying to work through a little bit differently. And then back the other way. Like so, I'm just going to give that a bit of a pull and snip off. We're now going to take this other tail end and go the opposite way. So this one we sewed in that way, and then this one we're going to sew in this way, doing exactly the same thing. I'm going to go across the top, that final round. And fasten off. And then we just have these two tail ends left. So this is the one that we left out from the beginning, and you just want to make sure that you're going across this the base of the second row, just to keep it out the way of the bottom, the first round where it stretches, because otherwise it will just come out as you're using it. So we're going to just go up to the base of that second row, round, and do exactly the same as we've been doing before. So back the other way, and then back the other way, trying to work through those different fibres. Like so. And then I'm just going to do this final one around the top here. So now that you have all of your tail ends sewn in, I just like to go across the top of this final round and almost scoot round those slip stitches so that they're not facing too much towards you. They're kind of on the edge of the work, if that makes sense. So you want to kind of just go round and scoot them round, just so they sit a little bit neater, and you kind of then eliminate the front and the back of the work. So here you can see that this is the back of the work quite distinctly, and then this is the front. But if you just pull that round like this, it just makes that look like it's on the very edge of the work, and just makes it look a little bit more reversible, a little bit neater. So you can go around and do all of that, and then you can really have fun playing with all the different colours, the colour combinations, and also the different sizing. I really hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to tag me on social media if you give these a go. I would absolutely love to see your makes and what colours you choose. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel to keep up to date with all of my latest videos. And if you like this tutorial with this hair accessory, then you might also like this video too, where you can make a headband.